I'll be like I'll be in charge of facilitating.
So you're already writing your own story?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Okay.
But I'll be in charge of facilitating the driving our truck.
Exactly.
Yep, yes.
Adequate notice of this meeting was provided to the Cranford Chronicle, advertised on January 16, 2015. Notification was sent to the Star Ledger and promptly posted on the municipal public bulletin board, filed in the office of the municipal clerk, informing the public of time and place according to the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Law, Chapter 231, PL 1975. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Mayor.
First, I'm going to make some presentations of the Mayor's Award for Under the Stars. From the Office of the Mayor, Certificate of Appreciation to Spencer Savings Bank. Spencer Savings Bank, we're hereby presented with the Mayor's Award of Appreciation for sponsorship of Garwood's Under the Stars movie night. The night was a success, thanks to all involved in organizing and sponsoring the event. Thank you. Mayor Charles Zamora.
Thank you. Also, from the refreshments and the popcorn that we gave out, that Spencer sponsored for everybody to buy, we raised $300. The sponsors was the Borough of Garwood, which Kathy personally gave $250 for the sponsorship. So I'm giving $100. We raised $300, so we're giving that back to the borough. And I also want to present another $100 to the Greater Westfield Area Chamber of Commerce. And they also sponsored with $750 sponsorship.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and the YMCA, of course, they gave their, the place where we had it, the field. So they're gonna receive also $100.
Thank you very
So
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Westville YMCA. Not here this evening. Yep. Westfield Area Chamber of Commerce. Office of the Mayor Appreciation Award, Westfield Area Chamber of Commerce. Westfield Area Chamber of Commerce hereby presented with the Mayor's Award of Appreciation for sponsoring Under the Stars night. The night was a success, like all involved in organizing and sponsoring the event. Thank you, Mayor Charles Clark. Captain, if you wouldn't mind. Office of the Mayor Certificate of Appreciation to the Garwood Police Department. Police Chief Underhill and the Garwood Police Department hereby presenting the Mayor's Award of Appreciation for the help in presenting Under the Stars movie night. Thank you to the Chief and the staff, the members of the Garwood Police Department. Charles Lombardo, Mayor Pro. Thank you. Last but not least, Captain Bellagio. Member and Chairman of the Celebrations Committee.
Office of the Mayor, Certificate of Appreciation, Kathy Bellagio, Garwood Celebrations Committee. Kathy Bellagio is hereby presented for the Mayor's Award for Appreciation for her leadership in presenting Under the Stars movie night. The night was a success thanks to you and your committee. Thank you, Kathy.
Mayor, what was that one that, just for the record, what was the one you put down?
DPW. DPW.
Thank you. Thank you.
Back to our regular order of business. Donna Borough, our engineer.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of things. The paving project, we were supposed to pave tomorrow. Looks like we're gonna get a good deal of rain, so we're supposed to be holding that until Thursday. But we should be able to pave both Maple and Beach on Thursday. We did receive bids for the sidewalk work. Let me just say that they were high, and beyond what we have, what we have for that work. This is the second time we've bid. Last time we had no bidders, this time we had a bidder. It made my recommendation that no matter what we do at this time of the year, we're not gonna be able to get the work done this year. So I would suggest that we throw those bids out, take bids in early part of the year. I know myself spoke to two contractors, both of which indicated they couldn't bid this year because they didn't have the time to get the work done. We did require them to do it this year. So that would be my recommendation on that work.
Okay.
On the sewer bids, we had 5 bids, 2 of them very competitive to each other. One was 37.7 and the other was 38.8. And then the 3 other bids were in the area of $70,000. In any case, it's above our appropriation, but it would be my recommendation that we award the bid after we reappropriate additional funds. I don't think we're gonna see a better bid, so I would suggest that what we do is we just appropriate the additional $7,000 or $8,000 we need and do the job.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Borough?
That's all.
Any questions for Mr. Borough this evening?
Yeah, I just have a question. Don, so are we, would you recommend we go with Mesicola then, with the low bid on that?
I would recommend we go with the lowest complete bid.
Okay.
There's still some questions involved that, in either case, either bid would be, I think, suggested.
And then one other question on the sidewalk bids, the sidewalk bid, excuse me. How far out of whack, in your opinion, how far out of whack did you think that was?
Well, I think it's about, my recommendation, my thought would be it would be around $60,000.
Okay, so that's about 50%.
About 50% over. Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, President.
Yeah, Don, have we worked with either Mesicola or Joe Med Contracting before?
I have worked with both of them, but not recently.
Okay. The other work that's being done in town presently, everything on time?
Oh, yes. Oh,
So
yeah.
far, so good?
Mhm.
Okay.
I asked them to hold up the paving because I was away, so we're scheduled to do it tomorrow.
Right.
But I said, rain, we already had notified the police department, but I believe that would have changed by now because the rain forecast is not good.
Right, I'm saying everything else, all the other work, the catch
Yeah.
basins, the piping.
Piping is all done, the grading and everything's been restored. The road, in fact, the roads have been built, they're ready to pave.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else at this time?
I do, Mayor, just real quick.
Yes, thank you.
I would agree with accepting your recommendations on both those projects. In terms of the sewer award, I know we originally bonded that at $35,000, so what are you recommending we amend the bond ordinance for?
I think if you put $8,000 or $10,000 on top of it, that'd be fine. I don't know what the borough's costs are gonna be, but certainly my fees won't be very much, and
Thank you.
That's always good to hear.
they're,
Thank you, Mr. Borough.
All right.
so I think, 45 is gonna be more than enough.
Okay, and we always can cancel the remainder anyway, it's not.
It's
like
not the kind of
spend.
job I would foresee an extra on because it's only 100 feet long, 120 feet long, and it's only one house, so
Right.
there can't be a lot of things that would be involved that would cost more money.
Okay, so should we go ahead as a council and recommend Ms. Ariama prepare that for next meeting to amend that bond ordinance to $45,000?
Anyone have a problem with that?
I'm okay with that, if that's the right step, sure.
Okay. Do we have a consensus? Thank you.
And when would we accept the bid formally?
Do we
We
have
can't
the money?
accept it till we have the money.
Do we have the money?
I might have to ask for an extension, I think I might have, but I'll take care of that if I need to.
Okay. Any other questions? Hearing none, Mr. Renata, Borough Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. We have, well, let me again just sort of update you on our affordable housing declaratory judgment action. We had another case management conference with the court last week on the 22nd. Everything seems to be going fairly well so far. I mean, I don't want to get into tremendous detail because it's a matter of litigation, but I have a reasonable belief, I think, that the matter is going to be able to be completed successfully by the end of the year, I hope. So far, we're pretty much counting on, for the most part, the redevelopment project on South Avenue, coupled with perhaps some of the redevelopment project on North Avenue, as satisfying the affordable housing component of our obligation. And again, so far it looks pretty good, so I'm hoping that goes well. Let's see, on the more mundane topics, I suppose we have two ordinances that are on for second reading and public hearing tonight. The one pertaining to dumpsters, which we've discussed extensively, as well as the engineering role ordinance, which we also discussed extensively. We have an ordinance for introduction, which is the alternate side of parking abolition on 3rd Avenue, which you will recall is being, the designation is being removed because apparently there's no purpose for the alternate side restrictions, so we're taking that out of the code. I think there are, my understanding is there's a couple of other ordinances that we're going to talk about later, so I'll save any comments I have until they're discussed, if I have any comments, and I believe that is my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Renata? Hearing none, we'll continue on. Unfinished business? Any new business? Yes.
I would like to thank Mayor Lombardo, Councilwoman Disco, Councilman Bill and your staff for attending the ribbon cutting and grand opening on October 27th of AmeriCare Physical Therapy in the King Shopping Center. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I have a small report. Since other council members are reporting on details, my report will be short this evening. I'd like to thank all groups and individuals that have participated in the 17th Annual Clean Communities Program that was held this past Saturday. We had 69 participants, and also there was a group from the council also participating. This past Friday, we participated in the official ribbon cutting for Garwood's newest business, AmeriCare Physical Therapy. Garwood has received a $2,500 matching grant from the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders under the Greening Union County Grant Program for the purpose of offsetting the cost of planting trees. We've also received a $5,000 check from the construction firm on the village of Garwood, who accidentally took down a mature tree on the property, and they've given us a check to supplement our tree planting projects in town. That's all I have. We'll continue on. Comments and matters for discussion from members of the council. Councilwoman Carney. Thank you. Councilman Martin is here this evening. Councilman Matthew.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Councilman Petrozelli.
Yes, Mayor, the only thing that I have to report, unfortunately it's on my phone, I wasn't able to print it out, but the athletic field building actually received an award. 2015 AIA-NJ Design Competition. There were over 68 companies that participated with over 100 boards. The jury deliberated for hours and at the end selected 12 winners, 7 merit and 5 honor awards. We received, well, not we, but the architect received a merit for built open, Garwood Athletic Complex, the Musial Group. I just wanted to mention that, so I thought that was,
Thank you very much. That's the second award that we received on behalf of that complex.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Continue on. Councilwoman Tedesco.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Well, as was mentioned, we had our Clean Communities this past Saturday. I was happy to participate in that since I've been doing it ever since I was a Girl Scout, as Jen Nearset knows as well from our days doing that. And I think it's a great, event where we get the community together to clean up the town, and the troops receive money from the grant for doing that, which is, of course, helpful for their efforts as well. But a matter I have for discussion, which might be a bit lengthier than the other reports. We have a couple resolutions on tonight's agenda in regards to recycling. So I want to talk about them now during workshop. They are resolutions 15-282 and 283 here. So basically, we bid recycling out for the next 14 months. We've received bids from 2 companies, Waste Management and Regional. They came in quite high, which certainly startled the Streets and Roads Committee when we received word of this last week. Waste Management and Regional Industries bid November and December, and then they bid January through December of 2016. So that's how they broke apart the 14 months. Basically, Waste Management came in slightly under Regional at a total of, $11,500 for November and December, and $69,300 for 2016. Regional came in at $12,000 for November and December, and for 2016, $72,300. So you can see these bids are quite high. And our original thought as a committee was that we could go the route of extending with Regional right now at $2,600 a pickup for the next 6 months, which would be slightly cheaper than going with these 2 bids that came in, both from Waste Management and from Regional. So that's why the resolutions are on tonight's agenda as you see them. And in our thinking was we would give it 6 months, and in that time, of course, we would go back to the drawing board with our bids, possibly bidding different alternatives. Also taking a look at possibly an in-house recycling option to see if it was viable for Garwood's DPW with changes to take on recycling. Obviously, they can't do it as is right now, but what would it take for Garwood to possibly deal with recycling as opposed to a private company? So then the Streets and Roads Committee, because we needed to make a recommendation by Friday afternoon so that there would be resolutions on tonight's agenda, that's what we did. But we've had further discussions about it, and basically we feel more comfortable going with the low bid of Waste Management for 14 months because it gives us much more time to investigate this in-house potential. And really, it's not whether it makes sense for Garwood to do it or not, like a yes, no. We don't know that right now. We really do need to take our time and research and investigate this. And the question isn't whether we can or can't today, but what it would take for us to invest in ourselves to possibly do this in the future. Maybe it makes no sense to, but the point is we want to take that time. We want to do our due diligence with that and investigate it. And let's see, but in the meantime, for basically a difference of, I have it here, basically a difference of a couple $100, we can go with Waste Management, lock in for 14 months, and it gives us that price during this volatile market that recycling is. So that's where we are at this point. We definitely want input from the rest of the council as to what to do. The resolutions, just because they're on tonight's agenda, doesn't mean we have to go with them. We could award to Waste Management at the prices that I indicated before. So, thoughts from other council people?
Well, as a committee, we had discussed that, so I thought that we were going to stick with going with a 14-month contract to go with Waste Management.
decided days?
I just got a question, so I'm just a little confused, so that it's the committee's recommendation now to go 14 months with waste management?
Yeah.
Okay, so then those two resolutions are coming off and then a new resolution is gonna be proposed.
Yes, Ms. Arietta, you have that resolution?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. At first, to us, it sounded like, oh, 6 months, that's a great amount of time to investigate, but with recycling, you have to bid for 60 days, so right there takes out 2 months out of the 6. So I think 14 is really the better move for the people.
I concur also.
Okay. Anything else? We have consensus.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Any other comments on Councilman's report? Hearing none. Council President Nielsen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 3 or 4, maybe 5 things. First, I don't know if anybody's seen it, there was an article in the paper, the market, the rentals are out for 331 South Avenue, the project cross street from the Kings Mall. It's being advertised, leasing new and spacious 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, retail stores with new storefronts built to suit. So I have spoken to the developer, and months, when he first started the project, he told me that the phone actually was, literally ringing off the hook. He said he had many people who were interested. So hopefully the sales will proceed, and that will become another positive project here in Garwood. Second, just to add to what the mayor said about the $5,000 we received from Del Sano Construction. This has to do with the memorial tree that was planted over at, originally at Lincoln School. And it was, people may recall, it was transplanted with great input, financial input from residents of Garwood over to St. Anne's. The planning board required the applicant to keep that tree. It was on the site plan indicating they were to keep it. They knew they were to keep it, and unfortunately they knocked it down. So to their credit, they did call me, as I mentioned before, they did call me that day. I had apologies, I had contracted my house, everything. We checked into what a tree that size would cost, and basically the total cost is $5,000. So as the mayor said, they have given us a check for $5,000 to plant trees. I hope to use that money to plant the majority of the trees over by 2nd, 3rd cedar in the area of St. Anne's. So hopefully that will make up for what they did. Third and fourth, I guess, there are 2 ordinances I'd like to bring up for council consideration. You should have both of them in front of you. The first one has to do with the fence ordinance within the land use ordinance. And this is an amendment to the existing ordinance. If you recall, I guess it was 2013, the council adopted an ordinance that prohibited 6-foot fences in front yards. The draft ordinance that is in front of you for your consideration, and then hopefully placement for first reading, would allow a 6-foot fence basically if someone has a swimming pool. The swimming pool does require a 6-foot fence to be placed around it, and so this ordinance would allow that as as a permitted accessory use or a permitted accessory structure. So I'd like to get this introduced for the next meeting and ask, right now, ask if anybody has any questions on it, or if we can have consensus to move that.
I agree.
All right, so
we'll
we can put that on for first reading at the next meeting. That'd be greatly appreciated. And the second ordinance concerns the abandoned properties. I know I was not here at the last meeting, and I apologize for that. But I understood there were a couple of questions raised. I have spoken to Councilwoman Carney since then, and I believe, and I don't want to speak for her, that she's now on board, the questions were answered. And so if everybody is okay with this, I would ask that this also be placed on for first reading at the next council meeting.
Yes.
Okay with that? Okay. I believe that's it, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Any general comments on the council president's report?
Thank you.
Seeing none at this time. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the mayor and council? Please step to the microphone, sign in, state your full name and address. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Mr. Patterson?
No.
I'll sign right afterwards.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the council. Bruce Patterson, 325 Willow Avenue. Last meeting, I brought up a resolution about the county taking Rawway Park and giving it to Rawway for their sports complex, and obviously the resolution is against it. They're kind of like seizing the land. However, the land is still in the ownership of the county, so whatever liability from the sports complex will still be part of the county liability, which is all our liability. So I know you guys had it in your hand. You really didn't comment on it last week. I'm just wondering if you're going to consider it. I feel it's wrong. I don't know if anybody wants to comment. I guess after I finish, because I have a couple of other issues. The ordinance for engineer roles. I know this, the borough engineer and the planning board engineer, there was always like discrepancies and duplication, and I think Bill, I know Kathy and I had a subcommittee and we kind of looked at it years ago, and Bill took it on again to try to straighten out whatever the issues are. I was reading the resolution, or the ordinance, and I think the main issue was something about drainage on the lands. I really don't see any clear definition about the drainage, or could Bill explain what the issue was?
Sure.
Councilman Nielsen.
Bill is fine.
You have 3 minutes.
I have 3 minutes. The issue has been who's responsible for engineer-related items, particularly, and Don Guerrero is here, so I'm sure if I say this incorrectly, he'll correct me. But when I was the planner years ago and Don was the engineer, there was no conflict. I did the planning end, Don did the engineering end. Now that our board planner is also an engineer, the conflict has come in because he's reviewing engineering and then so is Don. And what we're trying to do was to ensure there's no overlap, that both Don and, in this case, Victor, weren't reviewing and then billing either the applicant or the borough for the same items. So what we're trying to do is to limit the board engineer's responsibilities to the site. He's responsible for everything that's done on site. And then the borough engineer is responsible for anything, for instance, if there's a storm line, a sanitary line, anything in the public right of way. And that's where his responsibility takes over. So when you say drainage, yes, drainage on the site, if they have to put in piping on the site, catch basins on the site, that'll be board engineer. The minute you cross that line and you're in the public right of way, that then becomes responsibility of the borough engineer. That's what we're trying to do.
All right. When you say trying, I mean that.
Well, that's what this ordinance is.
Yes,
Through this ordinance, that's what we're trying to, that's the goal.
All right, through you, Mayor, I guess Mr. Gurriello, can he at least say that it kind of makes sense? Can we hear one of the parties?
Would you mind elaborating?
I've read the ordinance, and I don't think it says anything about me having any responsibility anymore. I believe it says if a site plan is submitted, that the board engineer is responsible for everything.
Bob?
Unless you can show me there
What's
what's
the question? The responsibilities are supposed to be broken up, so the board engineer has responsibility on site, the borough engineer has responsibility in the public right of way.
Yeah, I think that's what the ordinance provides. Do we have it here?
Right there.
No, we don't.
I mean, it might be to your right.
I don't think so.
It's being adopted, has to be after. Yeah.
Who's it, Bruce?
Right there.
Well, now, it leaves all the definitions pertaining to the borough engineer in the ordinance. It just says with respect to applications before the planning board, the board engineer is handles those applications. And, and with respect to all on-site inspections. I mean, that's what it says, but you have to read this in connection with the rest of the ordinance.
Right. And the rest of the ordinance is where the borough engineer's responsibilities are laid out.
Correct.
Yeah, one time, a couple of years ago, I remember Don was talking about the curb line. So, into the street and then back into the property. I mean,
You're correct, and there were more than one, there was more than one discussion, but what's been decided is the property line. The right of way is where those responsibilities change. So the curb is totally done.
Oh, okay, and about 8 feet in?
Roughly, obviously it varies, some are 10, some might be 12, but yes, roughly yes.
Okay, but this is all going to be in whatever the ordinance is.
That is correct.
All right. I mean, it doesn't jump out at me.
No, it doesn't, because as Don said, the existing, I thought it had to be placed in the land use ordinance, but I believe this is actually being placed in the administrative portion, Bob?
You know, what the problem is if I had to go through all of the ordinances of the borough and change every individual reference, I would spend the rest of the month and part of next month doing that, and then you would get a bill that's larger than the budget that you have for the entire year. So I don't want to do that. So what we did was to simply say, if it pertains to an application before the planning board, what the ordinance says is borough engineer, but we changed the definition so that it means that if we say borough engineer, we mean board engineer with respect to applications and on-site inspections. So the ordinance itself, I mean, what it says is basically you're gonna have to read the definition section and then look at the ordinance, because it's not just in the land use ordinance,
Right.
it's in the administration section of the ordinance. I mean, I did a quick search, there's probably 50 references. I mean, I'd have to change 50 ordinances, not to mention forgetting wharf fees, what it would cost, you know, for the newspaper publication and all that. So this is the most cost-effective way that I can come up with to change the ordinances without having to go through and change every single ordinance.
Ultimately, this is really all just billed to escrow monies, right? It doesn't really impact the tax.
The site that on the, yes, that would be correct. And see, I was about to say, no, but that's correct. The site work is billed to the board engineer would bill the escrow for site work, and the borough engineer would bill the escrow for work in the public right of way. So that is correct. It actually is all billed to the applicant.
Okay.
That is correct.
Just one last item, and again, for Councilman Deerstein, I think last week, you were out, but the meeting that you had on the flooding along the stream, I was one of the people that got the letter. But anyway, could you just give us an overview of what that was about?
Again, Don, if you have anything to add to it, what FEMA? Oh.
I'm on Willow, my back,
You're in the 300 block, not the 400 block.
but I got a letter.
His backyard is a 300 block of Willow.
That's not flood zone.
Yeah. We just wanted to make sure you knew about it.
That's right, thank you very much.
The bottom line there is there are, correct me if I'm wrong, was it 80 residents? About 80 residents of Garwood who pay flood insurance. And we wanted to, first off, the flood insurance rates after the storms we've had have gone up tremendously. There are residents here in town who are paying over $2,000 a year in flood insurance. So we wanted to, number one, well, I back up. We wanted to have someone from the Federal Emergency Management Agency come here who could explain flood insurance, who could explain why it jumped, who could explain what options residents might have to actually change or reduce the amount they pay. And I was very glad to see Representative of FEMA, but also a gentleman from the DEP was here. And the bottom line on it was that they explained why the flood insurance rates are what they are. But he went on to explain to the residents that the best thing for them to do is to band together, hire a surveyor, and have the surveyor actually come out and conduct not a property survey, but an elevation survey. And they would submit flood elevation certificate requests to, Don, is that to DEP or is that to FEMA?
They go to DEP.
They go to DEP. And then DEP would look at the actual elevations of the properties themselves and also, more importantly, of the structures. And they would determine if their flood insurance could indeed be reduced. And that's really the bottom line. We were able that night to get email addresses from residents, and Councilwoman Tedisco has pulled that together and sent out an email to those residents and, advise them that, we're gonna have to work together to get as many residents as possible who might be willing to put some money into a pot. They'll have to do it. It's not gonna be the borough doing it. They'll have to do it. And put it together, agree on hiring a surveyor, and submit the necessary documentation. I feel pretty good that they can get their flood insurance reduced. The gentleman from DEP did say that the borough has done as much as it can in terms of widening the brook. And unless we purchase additional property and provide for more flood retention, there isn't too much we can do. We also got into the issue regarding Cranford, the pipes under the Raritan Valley line and DOT. The councilman from Cranford, Tom Hanna, was here. At first I felt really sorry for him because everybody kind of jumped on him because we really can't get any alleviation until they do work on Orchard Brook in Cranford. He did advise that the council in Cranford has put that forward again. They are pushing it. They recognize they might indeed have to use their eminent domain powers to actually take some of the property from the people along the brook in order to provide for the flood retention if those property owners aren't willing to, sell. We think after the past, he indicated that after the past storms, he thinks that they might be willing this time around to actually sell. And hopefully we're moving forward. Don, is there anything I missed?
No, I think that's pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah, Don's actually you've been recommending that they do surveys, right? When people question that.
They started it, as a matter of fact, 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago. They actually had approval from the DEP to do the project, but they could not get the neighbors to come forward with the easements.
Well, I'm talking about where you were recommending the people with the flood insurance.
Oh, yeah, that's always been an opportunity, and we've had a number of residents who benefited from it.
Oh,
When
okay.
people call me, that's what I tell them.
There's also 3 left that, in Cranford that must give up the land. There is 3 more left. He was pretty confident with that.
All right, and if any council people want to comment on that resolution
Okay.
that I put forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else, please step forward. Seeing none, a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Because of the lateness of the hour, we'll start the regular meeting immediately. Please stand for a moment of silence, salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes, thank you.
Notice of this meeting was provided to the Cranford Chronicle, advertised on January 16, 2015. Notification was sent to the Star Ledger and promptly posted on the municipal public bulletin board and filed in the office of the municipal clerk, informing the public of time and place according to provisions of the Open Public Meeting Law, Chapter 231, PM 1975. And everyone please silence their cell phones. Roll call, Ms. Ariema.
Mayor Lombardo.
Here.
Councilman Carney. Here. Councilman Martin.
Excused?
Councilman Matthew.
Here.
Councilman Petrozelli.
Here.
Councilman Tedisco.
Here.
And Council President Neerstead.
Here.
Minutes, please, Ms. Ariema.
Regular meeting of the mayor and council held on October 13, 2015. Executive session of the mayor and council held on October 13, 2015, and workshop session of the mayor and council held on October 13, 2015.
Are there any corrections or changes? Hearing none, may I have a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented, Mayor.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I abstain.
Thank you, Council President. Ms. Ariano, communications, please.
New Jersey State League of Municipalities, Mayor's Advisory.
Receive and file.
Bruce Patterson, resolution for assessment of 21 pounds and allowing the city of Garwood to seize county property for the restricted use as a recreational sports complex.
Receive and file.
Westfield Township Ordinance,
Receive and file.
Horry Valley Sewage Authority minutes,
Receive and file.
and Largo Region Commission minutes.
Receive and file. Public hearing on ordinance 15-19 and 15-20 as advertised in the Westfield Leader on October 15, 2015. Ms. Ariano, please read ordinance 15-19 as title only.
An ordinance to enact chapter 77 dumpsters and containers of the code of the Borough of Garwood to regulate placement of maintenance of dumpsters and containers and to repeal Article 9 dumpsters and containers in chapter 146 streets and sidewalks of said code.
Have you received any correspondence concerning ordinance 15-19?
None, Mayor.
Does anyone present wish to be heard on the ordinance 15-19? Motion to close public hearing on ordinance 15-19?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
Motion to adopt ordinance 15-19.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 15-19.
Thank you.
Second.
Roll call, Ms. Ariano.
Discussion, right?
Sorry. Discussion, please.
We've talked about
I'm
this
glad,
one
I'm glad,
pretty thorough.
I'm glad it's here, right.
That's okay. Thank you.
Councilman Carney.
Aye.
Councilman Matthew.
Aye.
Councilman Petrozelli.
Aye.
Councilman Tedisco.
Aye.
And Council President Niersted.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Ariano, please read ordinance 15-20 by title only.
Yes, Mayor. An ordinance to amend 106-4 definitions in Article 1 general provisions in Chapter 106 land use and 5-49 duties and powers in Article 8 borough engineer and Chapter 3 administration of the Code of the Borough of Garwood to define the roles of borough engineer and ward engineer with respect to land use applications and developments.
Have you received any correspondence concerning ordinance 15-20?
None, Mayor.
Does anyone present wish to be heard on concerning ordinance 15-20? Seeing none, motion to close public hearing on ordinance 15-20?
So moved.
Second?
Motion to adopt ordinance 15-20.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call, please, Ms. Ariano.
Councilman Carney.
Aye.
Councilman Matthew.
Aye.
Councilman Petrozelli.
Aye.
Councilman Tedisco.
Aye.
Council President Niersted.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano, please read ordinance 15-21 by title only.
Yes, Mayor. An ordinance to repeal 21-8.7, alternate side parking in Article 1, traffic and parking in Chapter 21, vehicles and traffic of the Code of the Borough of Garwood.
Motion to introduce ordinance 15-21.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance 15-21.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any discussion?
Is this just particular on Third, or is this?
Yes.
all over town?
It's only the 100 block of Third, and there was some talk in the past about why is this done, for street sweeping or because of the apartments? And I think if you think about it, I really think it is because of the apartments, because it's only that one block on the whole town, and obviously other areas are, the streets are swept, so I don't think it has anything to do with street sweeping. It's really the apartments to get cars moving from one side of the street to the other. Doesn't seem like it's an issue. It seems as though, as the residents brought forth the concern, that it was something that really wasn't important, yet it was getting enforced and they're faced with tickets. So I think less burden on the police to enforce something like that, and for consistency, that's why I'm totally in favor of it.
Thank you. Roll call, Ms. Ariano.
Councilman Carney. Councilman Matthew.
Aye.
Councilman Petrozelli.
Aye.
Councilman Tedisco.
Aye.
And Council President Niersted.
Yes.
Moving along, council standing committee reports and other reports. Councilwoman Carney, police.
Mayor. Officers on medical leave. Currently, there are 2 officers out on medical leave due to on-job injuries. On October 27th, officers responded to Crunch Gym for an unwanted person acting abnormally. As officers attempted to speak with the suspect, he flew out of control and fought with the 3 officers on scene. He was subsequently arrested, but not before all three officers sustained injuries. The actor was transported to the hospital where it was confirmed that he was under the influence of a controlled substance, PCP/angel dust. Officer Lewis and Haran were treated and released for their injuries, but Officer Cosgrove sustained a broken bone in his hand, which was under the suspect when he was taken to the ground. Officer Cosgrove is on medical leave for 6 to 8 weeks. His next follow-up appointment is in 4 weeks. On August 27th, officers investigated a report of suspicious individuals behind a building on South Avenue. During the investigation, 2 of the 4 suspects detained bolted from the scene, ran across the railroad tracks. Officers gave chase, and Officer Kleinsorgen slipped on a rail and fell headfirst into the railroad tie, sustaining multiple cuts and concussions. Officer Kleinsorgen has been out on medical leave, recovering, and his next evaluation appointment is November 6th. Both incidents involve transient actors. Unfortunately, this type of behavior and subsequent investigations are becoming more frequent. Adjustments to the duty schedule have been made to address the vacancies. Although we have rescheduled schools and training obligations, the financial impact should be minimal. That's all from my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Any comments on the report?
Captain, please extend our best wishes to the police officers and thank them for their service.
Okay. Public Health Council President Neerstedt.
No report, Mayor.
Streets and Roads Ecology, Councilwoman Tedesco.
Thank you, Mayor. The DPW has been busy with its regular duties of garbage, white goods, grass and brush pickup, maintaining borough properties and more. Shade tree pruning was completed along Rankin Avenue behind the recreation complex. As you may have noticed, fall welcome banners have been put up. Major pothole repairs were made on the 500 block of Spruce, as well as the western dead end of Myrtle. 3 tons of hot mix asphalt were used on Myrtle and 1 ton on Spruce. Additional repairs are needed on the dead end of the 600 block of Myrtle and should be completed by next week. Also, the DPW discarded the furniture and debris from the police department after the installation of the new dispatch console. Street sweeping has been taking place in various locations in the borough, including Center Street, bus stops, borough-owned parking lots, and more. The street sweeper was out numerous times, specifically 10/15, 16, 19, 20, and 21. The Borough of Fanwood provided us with a shared service for winterizing the new irrigation and turf field washdown system at the recreation complex. Without the shared service, this would have cost Garwood. This is the first time we had to winterize this system, and now the Garwood DPW is trained to do this in-house. Our DPW superintendent and Fanwood's foreman provided the training. Also, Fanwood's portable air compressor was used for the winterization. The position of DPW laborer has been advertised since what took place at the end of the last council meeting, as we completely support the filling of this vacancy. The deadline to submit is November 4th, and the ad is on our borough website as well as the League of Municipalities website. It is being well received, as we've received nice responses. The administrator and DPW superintendent will start interviews on November 4th, as to move this process along quickly. Let's see. The DPW negotiations process has begun. And finally, a reminder to residents that mandatory leaf bagging is in effect, and the DPW will be picking up bags November 2nd for the south side it starts, and November 9th for the north side. Please check the garbage schedule for details. That's all for my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Any comments on the Streets and Roads report? Seeing none. Fire Council President Neerstedt.
Thank you, Mayor. Last night, the fire department met for the first time in regard to the junior firefighter program, which is council adopted resolution to support this past year. The firefighters will have to go through background checks and harassment classes, harassment training classes, and then the program hopefully will start before the end of this year. And that's it for my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Council President. Any comments on the fire report? Finance, Councilman Petroselli.
No report.
Thank you. Buildings and Grounds, Councilman Matthew.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Laws and License, anyone have any laws and license? No? Okay.
Thank you.
No, there's no
Okay,
report, just, we
thank you.
need a meeting soon.
Recreation, Councilwoman Tedesco.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to thank Councilman Petrozelli for filling in for me at the last Recreation Commission meeting, as I couldn't make it. Children's Halloween ceramics took place last week on October 21st at Lincoln School and went very well. About 25 to 30 children attended. Holiday ceramics for adults and children will be on December 16th, and that's all for my report, Mayor. Councilman Petrozelli, if you want to add anything, feel free, but that's all I have.
That was pretty much what it was about. It was all about the results of everything. It was about, it was a very short meeting.
Okay.
Very good. Any comments?
Just a quick question, what's the, how much money has the athletic field complex brought in to date?
15,000.
Is it $15,000?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Committee on Aging, Councilwoman Carney.
Report, Mayor.
Thank you. Libraries, Mayor Representative, Councilman Petrozelli.
Thank you.
Is it size 9 font over there?
It's 3 pages long.
I can't comment. Go get some popcorn.
All right. The library has a busy calendar of programs for October and November. The following is a list of upcoming programs and activities. Thursday, October 29th, Movie for Children, Hotel Transylvania. Children can wear their PJs and bring a sleeping bag. The library provides the popcorn at 7 p.m. Thursday, November 5th, the library celebrates Day of the Dead. It was in Spanish, but I'm not going to go through that. But I was able to notice that. Okay, with stories, crafts, food, and more from 3 to 6:30 p.m. Tuesday, November 10th, adult craft. Adults can make a centerpiece for their Thanksgiving table, 7 p.m., and registration is required. Thursday, November 12th, Dixieland Band. The library will present an upbeat evening of early jazz, ragtime, and blues. This band is led by Florin Shantz, a 13-year-old trumpet, cornet, and flugelhorn player from Westfield, who founded the band when he was only 9 years old and has delivered programs at scores of different venues across New Jersey and New York. Starting at 7 p.m., registration is required. Monday, November 16th, Children's Thanksgiving Craft for children in 2nd grade and up, 3 p.m. Registration is required, limit to 20 children. Tuesday, November 17th, Adult Craft. Adults can paint a fall ceramic perfect for Thanksgiving. This program is sponsored by the Garwood Department of Parks and Recreation. Starts at 6 p.m. Registration is required. Saturday, December 5th, Santa's coming to the library at 11 a.m. Registration is required. In addition, we have many ongoing programs on Monday and Thursday mornings from 10:30 to 11:45. Our new knitting club is busy making scarves and blankets. For those who need tutoring in basic English, the library is offering an ESL for Spanish speakers. Class Mondays and Fridays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. through December. Also, toddler story time is every Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. for children age 4 and under. Friday mornings at 10 a.m. is movie time. Don't forget about Monday afternoon and Thursday evening book clubs. Holiday closings for the rest of the year. Tuesday, November 3rd, the library is used for polling facility. The library will be open, but the children's sections will be closed and seating will be limited. Tuesday, November 11th, the library will be closed for Veterans Day. On Wednesday, November 25th, the library will be closed early at 4:30 and will remain closed Thursday and Friday, November 26th and 27th for the Thanksgiving holiday. In December, the library will be closed on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, December 24th, 25th, 26th for Christmas holidays. The library will also be closed on Thursday, December 31st. That's all for my report.
Thank you. Any comments on that extensive report? Hearing none, School Board Liaison, Councilman Matthews.
Yes, Mayor. The only thing of note, the park testing scores are in for the state of New Jersey, and I was told they are not good. They will, but we didn't get the individual schools, so I'm not commenting on that. But Dr. Quigley said that they're going to form a baseline going forward. So that was the main thing that came out of that. Yeah, that's all for my report.
Thank you. Any comments? Hearing none, celebrations of public events and holiday liaison, Council President Neerstedt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
The Celebrations Committee held its 4th annual pumpkin decorating contest on Saturday, October 24th at the First Aid Squad. There were 25 pumpkins from pre-K to adults. We thank all who participated. The judging for the Halloween house decorating contest took place this past weekend. I know everyone's been waiting in anticipation. First place is Al and Mary Jane Steginga at 343 Second. Second place, Carol Reggie at 427 Union Street. Third place was Rosario McCrae at 336 Beach. So hopefully while we're out trick-or-treating on Saturday, we can take a look. Congratulations to the winners, and we thank all who participated. The next event will be the annual tree lighting and visit from Santa to be held on November 28th at 5 p.m. at Borough Hall. Hot chocolate and donuts will be served, and all children will be given a giveaway. I wanted to make sure it didn't say all children will be given away. All children will be given a giveaway. That's it for my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments on the report? Hearing none. Union County Air Traffic Noise Advisory Board Representative, Councilman Matthews.
No report, Mayor.
Administrative Review Committee, Councilman Tedesco.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Historical Committee, Councilwoman Tedesco.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Ms. Ariema, please read the officers' reports.
Chief of Police Bruce Underhill, monthly report for September. Municipal Court Administrator Mark Marino, monthly report for September 2015.
May I have a motion to accept the officers' report as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the mayor and council? Please step to the microphone, sign in, and state your full name and address. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
There's always Bruce. Right.
Talk about my resolution again, you know, you guys aren't responding.
Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Are there any resolutions anyone wants deleted from the consent agenda?
Excuse me.
Yes, Mayor. Could I have 15-282 and 15-283 deleted, Mayor? And
Thank
then
you.
Timmy, go have the new one when that's time's appropriate? Okay.
Uh-huh. I have a motion to adopt the amended consent agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as amended, Mayor.
Second.
Roll call, please, Ms. Ariana.
Councilman Carney. Councilman Matthews.
Aye.
Councilman Petrozelli.
Aye.
Councilman Tedesco.
Aye.
And Council President Mearston.
Yes.
Ms. Ariana, is there any resolutions not on the consent agenda or under review?
Yes, but we have to, so removing these two, don't we have to act on them still, Bob, the two that you removed?
They
don't want to take them.
If they take them off, that's fine.
Okay,
Okay.
they're also, I do
They're
have a resolution, that I have to read.
Thank you.
Resolution 15-285, whereas the Borough of Garwood advertised for bids for a contract for recycling collection services for November and December 2015 and for January to December 2016. And whereas bids were received on October 14th at 11 a.m. at Borough Hall as follows. Bidder, Waste Management, for November and December, $11,550. January to December 2016, $69,300, with total bid of $80,850. And Regional Industries, $12,057.15, and $72,342.85, for total bid of $84,400. Whereas Waste Management of New Jersey from Ewing submitted the lowest bid by submitting a grand total lump sum bid for a 14-month contract in the amount of $80,850. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Borough of Garwood, the aforementioned contract be and the same hereby is awarded to Waste Management of New Jersey in accordance with the bidding documents and the aforementioned bid submitted, and be it further resolved that the mayor hereby authorize execution contract in accordance with the foregoing in the form prepared or approved by the borough attorney. I need to mention one thing that we failed to mention when we were talking about it earlier. Waste Management has requested in their bid a letter to you asking if they could pick up every Wednesday instead of every other week and split the town in half. You consent to that?
It would be in January, right?
Yes.
So this year's garbage schedule will go out letting people know that?
Yes, very clearly.
Okay, so timing wise, letting people know the garbage schedule, which goes out in December anyway, I'm okay with that.
You know what, I'm okay with that
Because
too.
it's probably how the
because-
bid came in.
Right, but I mean, I'm okay with that because I noticed that, you know, on my block, sometimes when, well, you know, when garbage and the recycling is out at the same time, sometimes the recyclers pick up the regular garbage and mix it with the recycling. So I'm all for that because that's, you know, that's not good.
So Tina, could you explain, since the first time we're hearing this, exactly how that would work each month? Because it's obviously going to affect people's schedules.
They're gonna come every Wednesday,
Every Wednesday.
and they said that we can divide the town however we want, so it's easy, when people are used to it being north and south, so that would be the best way to divide it. So every Wednesday they come, they pick up the north side, then next Wednesday they pick up the south side, the next Wednesday they pick up the north side, next Wednesday they pick up the south side.
Okay.
And then where's the line of demarcation between north and south?
Myrtle, I'm sorry.
You know, if I remember correctly,
Willow.
it was,
Willow.
no, it's south, that's for garbage, it's South Ave.
Okay, so we would use actual South
Yeah,
Avenue
because
then?
we used to do it that way, and other people might remember, and it
Mhm.
might be easier for them to pick it back up again. We used to divide recycling many years ago, so
Okay.
South Avenue was divided that way and that way.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Willow's
good.
the north
I just think
side.
we should probably do some kind of public awareness if we could.
Oh,
You know,
Well, that'll go out in the book.
Yeah, it could go on the booklet, but, you
On
know.
the website and all.
Yeah,
Should be on the
having the whole house is flat out. Yeah.
I can put something on the marquee, like says, you know, check your schedule, recycling has changed, you know.
Anything like that, I think would be good.
I'll do that, yeah, in December.
Okay.
So we need a motion to
Yeah.
that, Charles, I kind of
Yes.
explained that.
Yes, ma'am. Do I have a motion to accept the new resolution pertaining to recycling?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to accept 15-285.
Do I have a second? Roll call?
Councilman Carney? Councilman Matthews?
Aye.
Councilman Petrozelli?
Aye.
Councilman Disco?
Aye.
And Council President Niersted?
Yes.
Okay.
No more.
Thank you. Proclamations, Breast Cancer Awareness Month and Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Continue on, Ms. Ariema, please read the payment of claims resolution.
Be it resolved, the following claims as approved be and the same are hereby ordered paid when properly signed and verified, and the payment of payrolls as listed is hereby confirmed and ratified.
I have a motion to adopt payment of claims.
I'll make a motion to adopt the payment of claims, Mayor.
Roll call, please, Ms. Ariema.
Councilman Carney? Councilman Matthews?
Aye.
Councilman Petrozelli?
Aye.
Councilman Disco?
Aye.
And Council President Niersted?
Aye.
The regular meeting of the mayor and council will be held on Tuesday, November 10th, 2015, in council chambers at 7:15 p.m. Workshop session will start at 7 p.m. There will be a public hearing in council chambers on the Union County Development Block Grant Year 40 proposals on Tuesday, November 10th, 2015, at 7:15 p.m. or soon thereafter. There will be a public hearing in council chambers on ordinance number 15-21 on Tuesday, November 10th, 2015, at 7:15 p.m. or sooner thereafter. Have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?